The legal pad rotates toward you. Blue ballpoint. 878,500. No dollar sign. Just the words, then the digits underneath. Your lawyer watches your face. You do not give her one. Across the table, the defense counsel closes his folder. The mediator stands and gathers her notes. You keep your hands in your lap. You have sat in this glass conference room 4 times. This is the last. 2 years and 3 months earlier, a white delivery van ran the light. You were in the crosswalk with a paper grocery bag. The rest lives in medical charts and deposition binders. 2 surgeries on the left leg. A pelvis that still tightens before weather shifts. 14 months without a paycheck that covered the rent. The job had been floor manager at a midtown home goods store. Standing, lifting, unlocking display cases, smiling through the ache of long shifts. You cannot do that work anymore. They replaced you in week 11. Cobra ran out. The cards carried what the body could not. Your older brother sent $14,200 across 6 quiet transfers and never once named a due date. Your partner stayed through the first winter and leased a studio across the city in the second. You blamed neither of them. Today the money turns real. The defense opened at $400,000 just after 9. Your side answered with a figure that drew one short laugh from the adjuster. 6 hours of mediation wore the gap down. This number is where both sides stopped moving. It is a lump sum. They floated a structure before lunch, monthly payments for 30 years, some portion guaranteed to an estate. You said no while the coffee was still warm. A structure would have protected the money from sudden asks and from your own worst days. It would also have locked the rate and the access. You may need another procedure. You may need to change cities or retrain faster than an annuity allows. Lump sum keeps every choice inside your hands. The gross settlement is $1,500,000. Attorney contingency at 1/3 takes $500,000. Case costs advanced over 2 years, $27,500. The health plan lien for the ambulance, the surgeries, the months of imaging and therapy, $94,000. What remains after those come off is $878,500. Compensatory damages for physical injury are excluded from income. No federal tax will touch this wire. Your lawyer wrote that fact in the margin, so you would still see it on the morning the deposit posts. You sign the release in the room. You initial the stipulation of dismissal with prejudice. She will file by Friday. The carrier has 21 days from the last signature to move the funds into her trust account and then into yours. You ride the elevator down alone. Your sister waits in the lobby holding 2 coffees that have gone cold. She asks if it is finished. You say yes. She does not ask the number. You tell her in the car anyway. She keeps both hands on the wheel and says good. Then she says you should sleep for a week. You do not sleep. The first call you make is to a fee-only planner you found on a plain directory, the kind who bills by the hour and sells no products. You meet her 3 days later in a 3rd-floor office with a wide window and a spider plant that needs water. You set the net figure on the desk between you. She does not congratulate you. She pulls a blank sheet closer. First, she says understand the conversion. The settlement turned lost wages, permanent limitation, and pain into cash. It is not a prize that arrived from nowhere. Treat it like the last large check you may see for some time if the leg keeps deciding what work you can accept. You build the list together in plain numbers. 14,200 returns to your brother, plus 600 you add because he waited without asking. 23,400 to the 3 cards, paid the same day the wire lands, so the interest stops. 40,000 sealed into a separate savings labeled future care, brace, possible revision, the adaptive equipment you hope never to need. 6 months of lean living at your current rent and utilities, 29,000. That leaves roughly 767,000. She sketches a simple allocation, broad index funds, a short treasury ladder, nothing clever, nothing that requires you to watch a screen every morning. At a 3.5% initial withdrawal, the remainder could produce about 26,000 a year without eating principal in ordinary markets. That is a floor. It is not a salary. You will still need work that does not demand 8 hours on concrete floors. That same week, you enroll in an evening certificate for bookkeeping and basic tax preparation. Seated work, remote friendly. Skills companies hire without caring how you walk into the building. The money has not arrived, and already the next 5 years have a clearer outline. Then the people arrive. You tell your mother on a Sunday call. She cries with relief. Then she begins naming listings near her. 3-bedroom houses in a suburb where every errand needs a car and the sidewalks simply end. You say you are looking at a 1-bedroom near the train line and the physical therapist you already trust. The silence stretches. She says she only wants you safe. You know she also wants you close enough to manage. You do not yield on the point. Your brother receives the repayment as a bank transfer with a 1-line note. Thank you, and the exact sum plus the 600. He calls that night. He says he did not want it back like that. He says he thought this would change things for the whole family. He means the twins' college fund and the roof he has patched twice. You tell him the settlement replaced what the van took from your body and your earning years. It did not turn you into the family bank. He goes quiet. Then he hangs up. He does not text for 11 weeks. A friend from the old store wants to open a small cafe and needs a silent partner at $60,000. The message is warm and full of the jokes you used to trade on closing shifts. You listen to the full pitch on a voice note. You say no. You say the money already has its jobs. The warmth leaves the thread over the next 2 days. You let it leave. An aunt you have not seen in 3 years writes a long email about her son's startup and the bridge funding it still needs. You answer with 2 kind sentences and no numbers. You do not explain further. On day 22, the wire posts while you are sitting in a grocery parking lot. You watch the balance update once. You do not take a screenshot. You move the pieces in the same hour, the cards, the brother, the care fund, the living reserve, then the rest to the brokerage account the planner helped you open. What stays in checking is enough for the month, the certificate tuition, and the next PT block. Your leg aches the way it always does when the pressure drops. Nothing about the number changed that. What changed is the margin around the ache. You can retrain without panic. You can refuse without calculating the next grocery run. You can choose the smaller apartment with the elevator and the good north light and not call the choice a failure. You tour 2 places that week. The first has a beautiful kitchen and a spiral stair to the loft bed. You feel the pull of the light, and then you feel the leg. You thank the agent and leave. The second is smaller, closer to the bus, with a level entrance and a window that frames a honey locust tree. You put down the deposit the same afternoon. Your sister comes over with takeout the night you finish the forms. She does not mention the money once. You eat on the floor because the table is still covered in enrollment papers and therapy printouts. She says you look like someone who has decided something. You have. The settlement will not return the easy mornings before the van. It will not restore the career that required a body you no longer have. It will not make your brother understand on your preferred schedule. It will not soften every relative who suddenly smells a resource. What it does is simpler and harder. It buys you the right to be careful out loud. You use it that way. You keep the real figure inside a very small circle. You answer questions about how much, with enough to retrain and stay housed. Most people stop asking after that. The ones who do not stop asking reveal what they came for. You learn to end those conversations without apology. 3 weeks into the certificate, you catch yourself climbing the bus steps without the old spike of fear about the day the money would run out. The fear is still there, smaller. The limp is still there, unchanged, but the 2 no longer arrive as the same sentence. On a Thursday evening, you walk the long way home from class. The air is cool. Your phone stays in your pocket. No one in the classroom knows the number that landed in your account. You prefer it. That preference costs you the old easy versions of certain people. It also leaves the principal free to work while you learn how to work again. You can live with the cost. You are already living with it. The release you signed in the glass room did not repair the body or the calendar. It converted the loss into time and quiet. You spend both on the only things that still belong to you, the next skill, the level floor, the small circle that does not ask for a share. Tomorrow you will ride the same bus. You will take the same seat near the front. You will open the same notebook. The number will still be there, doing the quiet job you gave it. That is enough.